Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons.
What up, guys? Welcome to Base Damage, and this week, podcast number 57. We got Kool-Aid here, oh yeah, and we got Timmy.
What's going on?
Hey, bro, it's all good. How about you?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to ask you right in the middle of you taking a drink there.
No, I went ahead and took the drink side. We have some reading to do.
Yeah, I know, right? We're gonna be reading a lot today. Put it that way. This is today's. If you can't tell from the screen, obviously, is we're going to be going over the new Ordinal Scale pack. And I know I said before for the bigger, like, full 100 card packs, I'd rather not do, like, 4 individual podcasts. But I feel that so much of this needs discussion on it, I'm actually going to end up doing 4 separate podcasts for this one. But at the same time,
I agree with you. All of these cards, they're all good.
They're like... A lot of it's like good, interesting. I've looked over 2 colors so far, and I'm already liking it a whole bunch. So, I figured,
some of these cards have like unique traits that they'd never had before as well, which is something I just happened to see. But
yeah, which I figure we're also end up discussing some stuff. You and I from our locals seem to be the most frequent SAO players.
Yeah, we're like the 2 avid SAO players that don't play Switch Combo.
Yeah. I can't say nothing. I did run Switch Combo for a bit just to test it out, but at the same time, I quit that life.
You left that life quickly.
Yeah, nothing against it, but it is. I went ahead and sold some of those cards and made some money. I'm just saying.
You into the life of cash.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I need money. Oh, fuck. Okay, sorry, Kirito,
Like, Kirito, you my bro, but I mean, when my wallet's calling, you gotta go.
Exactly, considering I needed stuff for other decks as well, so I was like, it's whatever. And, like, stuff like Last Shot Xenon went down by so much in price, it was crazy.
Yeah, like, when decks became affordable.
Yeah. Thank you, re-edit. Type stuff. But this may bring back some expensive cards when we're getting the movie set. The Ordinal Scale movie pack just dropped in Japan this past Friday or Thursday. I think it was Friday. We're getting it in December, like almost Christmas December. I think it's like the week of. But that is perfectly fine with me. I figured, well, we might as well go ahead and go over it before.
Yeah, I think it was like the 22nd or something like that. But
I think you're right. Sorry for anyone if I'm wrong on stuff. Billy's been wrong on effects before and shit. That's whatever.
We're all human.
Yeah, all right. But internet. Some people don't seem to get that. Anywho. So obviously we're going to take our time and actually go over each part. So this one's just going to be the yellow cards for today, which is primarily Asuna, it seems. And that one Kayaba card, just right there. I've gone over this and yellow and green so far. Like, I'm going to be going over the rest of it after this, but I figured, well, what the fuck, nah, let's just go ahead and go over this type thing. So, any announcements? I can't think of any off the top of my head, mostly because people we were doing announcements for haven't hit me up in a while. So,
announcement list. Neat.
I know, right? No announcements. Yay! Other than we got back from Atlanta Regionals, that was really cool. That was in the last podcast we discussed. Basically did 2 parts of that on the way there and on the way back, and just kind of gave our thoughts on it before and after type thing.
Right.
Congrats to our buddy Taylor, who got 3rd place with Konosuba. It was freaking awesome.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, bro. He just... I saw it. He finally subscribed to the channel the other day. Like, it just straight said, Taylor McNeil has subscribed to your channel. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Of course, now that we're giving him a shout out and whatnot, of course he's interested.
Exactly. Which, I already asked him. I was like, dude, I need to get a deck profile from you for that, for the Konosuba deck. He's like, okay. We got I don't know. Okay, other than other packs that got announced recently, supposedly we're getting P5 finally in February.
Oof.
Other
It's been a
than
long wait.
yeah, JP has confirmed another Bang Dream set that supposedly has more SPs than there are cards in the set. I don't know.
Really?
I think it was like a typo on Bushiroad's part or something of that nature, but it just stated all the different types of SPs and rares. You know how like Love Live had the XRs
Yeah.
and the Muse rares and stuff like that, but they were all signs and whatnot. For this Bang Dream set that's coming out is going to have so many of those, it's just ridiculous. Like, if you want to fully bling out a deck, your wallet is going to cry.
I was like, I wonder if that would actually affect the price of some cards when you think about it.
Possibly. Since people would be going like more for SPs than they would the normal versions. Depends on what the cards do, too. But
Right.
at the same time, I've seen
But I mean, like,
quite a few
if
Bang
the
Dream-
set's primarily the SP, though, it seems it'll be more common to get one, so who knows?
Here's hoping. Which a lot of Bang Dream decks have been topping in English recently. I don't know how well they're doing in JP, but you know I've seen quite a few topping in English, so that'll be interesting for over here if we get it.
Right.
Also, Happy Halloween. This will be coming out on the 31st, so here's a spooky edition. I don't know, fuck it. Damn it, good point.
As I was telling you earlier, the only spooky thing about it is we're getting another Sword Art set.
No, I just realized the song that I have to put in for the intro, so you'll have to see that
Oh,
when it comes
Lord.
out. So, fun with editing. Other than that, yeah, let's get right into this. Like I said, like, primarily a lot of this is Asuna and or Kirito. There's, like, if it has a Kirito in yellow, it still has Asuna in the...
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm
there.
scrolling down the list right now. Anytime I see the word Kirito, it's usually preluded by and Asuna.
To go ahead and jump a little bit, I wanted to go ahead and preface this with they did reprint or give a new copy of Mother's Rosaria. Now, to my knowledge, because I'm pulling up the picture for that, because instead of quotation marks, it has like the bracket things around it for English.
Yeah, the avatar brackets.
Yeah, which you can see right here also for the JP, highlighted in blue right there. As far as I understand, this is supposed to be the same thing as the current Mother's Rosario that we have in English, which is the 1K1 Gold Bar. So this you could essentially run this with Zek and Yuki and still be able to pull off the combo as long as you have the colors. That's whatever. But they gave a new copy of it, which is a yellow stock soul, double crit trigger. Mostly because there's some cards in this so far that kind of emphasize the use of the double crit triggers anyway, but it's based off either trigger effects or whatever. So you'll see that as we come along to them. But as to my knowledge, as of right now, if something down the road states differently, because there's another note that I want to point out in this, which is why I'm going ahead and stating this, that we can use this as the normal Mother's Rosario for Zeki Yuki and the like. So, just wanted to point that out.
Yep. Until we get that English and there's just one apostrophe missing or something that throws the whole thing out of proportion. But
I know, right? Like, thanks, Bushiroad, that's whatever. But, because there's some other cards in here that, there were some translators' notes that kind of brought something to my attention, and I was kind of curious on it. I'll get to that when we get to it, but I'll go ahead and start off with the first one. Obviously, first one being a double rare, Asuna on Stage. It's a 001K 1 soul. This one was fairly simplistic though, but we're going to be going over each card as long as it has an effect. So this being a double rare, during your turn, all your other characters gain plus 500 power. It's a brainstorm ability of 1 stock, arresting 2 of your characters, mill 4 for every climax, search your deck for a avatar or net character. So, essentially the brainstorm effect is the literal same thing as the Sleeping Knights brainstormer that is currently already used for the main SAO builds, because you want to search out them Zek and Yukis.
right.
The difference being the first effect of all your characters getting 500 power during your turn versus the Sleeping Knights gives the middle center Asuna or Yuki 1,000 power and a level. Yeah,
Yeah, I
had
believe
to
so.
remember it. I have it like sitting in a deck box right here to the side to me, but so if I forget any effects, I can just look it up. But
Right.
so for the most part, this is the exact same. Brainstorm wise, this may actually end up seeing a little bit more play than that, but you still need green targets in the deck for Zekken Yuki, so it'll be interesting to see if that balances out that way or not.
Right.
I may try it. I may tech in one or two just to mess around with it. Why not? Might as well.
See, one thing I did notice about this, and I was telling you about this earlier, that some cards had different traits that they normally don't have. Like Asuna has a weapon trait here.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, that's
I'm
one
not
of the
used to them
things.
having
Yeah.
weapon trait. I'm only used to like Liz having it.
Yeah,
Liz and Death Gun, more or
Liz,
less.
Death Gun, and I think some Xenons have weapon. I could be completely wrong on this, but
I want to say at least one does, but
for the most part, you're used to just seeing Avatar Net for a lot of this.
yeah. So I'm kind of interested for like weapon-based decks if this would actually buff that a little bit.
Yeah, basically, it'd be interesting for that.
Actually, I'm holding a Xenon card right now that has a weapon. That has weapon
Cool. So
key to it. Neat.
there you go. Moving right along, let's go ahead to the next one, if you would, Mr. Timmy.
Yeah, sure. Asuna, Shooting Star Promise, a 0/0, 1K, 1 soul, Avatar weapon. When it's placed on stage from hand, put the top 2 cards of your library into your waiting room. If there are at least one climax among them, this card gains +2 soul. And then put the top card of your stock into your clock, send this to memory. When this card becomes reversed, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose with one character in your waiting room with either Kirito, Asuna, or Yui in its name and return it to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I have to get back used to reading this Japanese text.
I know, right? But I thought that was kind of interesting, where you essentially end up paying a stock, but it goes to your clock. There's some other cards in this that state if you have X number of cards in your memory, kind of going like almost like a throwback to Angel Beats, if you would.
Yeah, I was gonna say some memory management here. It's really neat.
So, and then being able to get back the Kirito and Asunas you need if that just stayed. I honestly feel that for dealing a damage to yourself off of this, as well as paying a stock, I feel that this should have just let you grab any Avatar Net character. But because you're limited to like Kirito, Asuna, or Yui, like there are some good Yui cards. Not gonna, try to put her down in any way, shape, or form because she's so fucking adorable.
Right.
But there are obviously great Kirito and Asuna cards. Hence the fucking switch combo deck amongst a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, or like way back when SAO first started, there was the whole family deck running around.
Let's see, like, how cool would this be if it just stated, like, Avatar Net and, oh, I need this extra Zekken Yuki that's in my waiting room, please,
At the end of the day, everything comes around to Zekken Yuki.
I know, I'm going to be making so many throwbacks to that as far as that, as well as comparing a bunch of other cards in this set to other cards, but that's whatever. But yeah, it's also kind of like...
But no, I do feel like you're paying a lot for what limitations it has on it.
The first effect's kind of whatevs. That's kind of cool, but like get more cards. The fact that it puts cards into the waiting room that you could potentially grab back with the second ability, there's the synergy for it, I guess. But it's whatever.
Yeah,
I milled 2 climaxes. Nothing.
I think it depends on just if there's more cards that actually use the memory, more or less. If it'll be worth it or not, not entirely too sure. I don't know what's in the set actually, but
between yellow or green, there was at least 2 or 3 cards that had to have stuff in memory. Admittedly,
that's good.
One of them is specified a certain card, and we'll get to that when we get to that. That's more in green, but yeah, this was still kind of cool, and the art for this is actually looking very nice so far. I'm actually kind of liking.
Oh no, the art for this set looks pretty. All of it's pretty.
As opposed to like Volume 1 stuff,
Right.
But,
as opposed to just I took a screenshot of the anime and printed it on this card, but
yeah, absolutely which they just seem to do that a lot anyway. But a lot of this is like original art, so I'm really excited to see a lot of this.
Yeah.
This next one, number 3, Asuna Getting Over Her Fear, is a double rare. Level 3, 2 cost, 10k, 2 soul. I was so excited to see this because this gives...
Who wasn't excited to see this card?
Oh my god. AOT players? I don't know. AOT just wants more of their set because shenanigans. This is going to be very interesting, but first off, it's placed when it's placed from hand to stage, you can heal 1. Typical heal, cool. The beauty is when it attacks, if Mother Rosario is in the climax zone, you may pay the cost, which is discard 2 cards. Doesn't specify. If so, put the top 11, yes, 11 cards of your library into your waiting room. Deal X damage to your opponent, and this gains 3,000 power for the turn. X is equal to the sum of the number of soul triggers amongst those cards. And that's not down here where the card does soul damage. That's up in the top corner. So level 2 and higher characters and some level 1s where they have the crit triggers here, and any of the 2 soul triggers like the stock soul we mentioned before, or draw 2k and a soul, stuff like that. Those will have 2 crit triggers and you count those. But that's to my understanding, that's how that works. This is essentially
skill sword lore Yuki.
Sword skill lore?
Sword skill lore, one of the two, yes.
Is a level 0 Yuki from the Mother Rosario set that when a particular named Asuna swung, you could pay a cost, which was a lot higher than just discard 2 cards. Because it also wasn't a climax combo.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
On an attack by Vestige of Asuna. Yeah. You pay for, I think you drop a card and then you send her to memory as well.
Mm-hmm. And it does the exact
But I just
same
know pay
burn.
for and send her to memory, and that ruined me. But
yeah. But it has the exact same mill 11 burn effect, but it doesn't have the plus 3k buff. This thing gets huge. And one of the reasons I pointed out Mother Rosario early on is you'd be able to, if it works out that way, you'd be able to use the gold bar for this effect. So Zekken Yuki Last Shot seen on decks would be able to just splash a copy of this in. Oh, well, I didn't somehow get my last shot combo.
I wouldn't even splash it. I'd honestly just straight up try to have her split the deck in half with Xenon, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just because gold bars are gold bars, right?
Yeah, you're gonna see them. So it's the fact of if you don't get, you have 2 different options for your end game, and that's just hilarious to me. And that's just really, really, really freaking cool to me. Also, because if you use that Mother Rosario, she ends up being a 14k off of those alone before any other buffs. Actually, that's pretty cool so far. So,
oh, definitely.
I'm definitely going to be trying to pick this up.
No stock cost for burns, though. That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you're going to hit a climax out of 11 damage. I mean, I hope, or 11 out of 11 cards worth of soul. But I mean, if you don't, you did free damage.
Exactly. Which with the Last Shot seen on Zekken Yuki decks anyway, their climaxes don't have the plus 2 soul triggers. You're only hoping to do a little bit of burn.
To be fair,
anyway.
To be fair, none of your climaxes even have a soul trigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have gold bar and draw trigger.
Yeah. So you're kind of hoping for 2 to 3 burn anyway, maybe, and that's.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of it, though. It keeps your burns low, so that way you don't have to run into a climax every time. But
being able to do that, mill 11 cards.
And then only hit 2 or 3, that feels so good.
That would be so beautiful. Do that and then still do her 3 damage. That's just so much more consistent.
Right, instead of saying, well, I just milled 11, now burn for 10.
Yeah, so you got to take.
But if the 10 sticks, you're like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
I'm better at this game than you.
I've seen that happen. That's the fucked up part.
Shout out to Marvin.
Sure, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but as opposed to, say, the Clock Shooter Lifa, where you have to specifically discard 2 characters, it's okay, well, you can just discard anything. Fuck it, yeah, okay.
Too many gold bars in my hand? Let me just discard these real quick.
I know, right? Since you're going to mill 11 anyway.
Right, I'm going to be refreshing eventually, so I may as well just toss them in there while I got them.
Get them out the way.
Exactly.
So that'll be interesting and definitely going to
Yeah,
be something to
it all
try.
depends on how they treat Mother's Rosario.
Exactly, which they probably will. But that also gets into the next card, which you'll see in this one. If you would, this next one.
Oh, Asuna Park Date. Or Park Date. Nice and 0/0, 1000 power, 1 soul. When it's placed on stage from hand, choose one of your characters with either Avatar or Net, and that character gets 1500 power until the end of turn. It has a bond ability with Chain Attack Kirito, so discard a card from your hand to your waiting room to grab that card back from the waiting room to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, actually. It has a giant translator's note, though.
That's what I was going to point out, and I'm highlighting this. There's a translator's note, and it says this card's Japanese name is written in kanji. Normally, her avatar name is written in katakana. This card is not considered to be a quote-unquote asuna for the purpose of effects that check for the name asuna. Now, this came up with silica cards in the first couple sets once they started putting out the Keiko cards. Because the Pina, the Pina specifically had an ability to save a silica, but it couldn't save.
It couldn't save Keiko. Yeah.
Because two different names. Sure, but Asuna's avatar name is the same as her IRL name. So I can't.
So that's gonna be very weird.
I can't see the problem. This is one of the reasons I also stated, like, talking about Excalibur to you earlier off of what we were talking about. They might put
where
this in,
just quotations mattered.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to end up doing to change this. I don't know if this is going to end up being a potential issue. Not like it's really going to be too terribly hard, because a lot of stuff just checks Avatar Net, which this is Net. But if
and it's like, I really doubt we're going to be wasting resources on trying to have anything involving Asuna cards on this card particularly anyway, but
now, ones that you do have to worry... There are some other cards in this that you do that anyway. But how many cards have you seen that's like some Yui cards or whatever that say tap and give your Asuna or Kirito a buff?
Oh, no, like the entirety of the first set was nothing but tap and give Asuna and or Kirito.
Exactly. So the blue cards
I think all the Yui cards except for the vanilla actually say tap and give something to Kirito or Asuna.
You're probably right. But if any of the blue cards later on have the Kirito stuff that's Kazuto and not Kirito, you wouldn't be able to do those for that.
Yeah, but again, that's different because the name is Kazuto and Kirito, but Asuna here just has to be a tryhard and be like, both my names are Asuna.
Yeah. So it's going to be really weird, like, if it has to have like a subtext on it of this does not count as an Asuna card.
Like, are we actually going to have to read the hiragana or katakana and be like, then this isn't Asuna. So it's Asuna, but not Asuna.
Yeah, I'm curious as to see if that even ends up becoming an issue. I doubt it, but if it does, I'll be kind of keeping an eye out. So, anyway.
Like, can we put quotation marks over real Asuna's name? That'll be...
The specific thing we're talking about for that was there was Excalibur from the Fate series. There was a saber that comboed with Excalibur, but there was another one that had like quotation marks around it, even though they both stated Excalibur, and you couldn't use it for that climax combo effect. So that's why we're like, oh shit, you know.
Like, good for them for actually giving us the difference between the two, but now I'm more thinking, what are they going to do with this Asuna?
Yeah. So I don't know. So it'll be an interesting thing, and I'll be keeping an eye out for that. This next one's just as interesting because I'll get to it. Asuna, Kirito's Lover. It's a rare. It's a 1/0/5/5/1 soul. Because it's bigger than a normal free cost level 1, it has the drawback that it can't side attack. However, has a climax combo when the battle opponent of this becomes reversed. If Unchanged Feelings is in your climax zone, search your library for up to one character with either Avatar or Net. Reveal it, put it into your hands over your library. So, is this card reminding you of anything particular, Tim?
Kind
of a Hantai card. We were talking about earlier with people from our locals that ran combos that...
God knows I hope I opened before this in my hand.
Yeah. And the climax is a draw 2k and a soul. And they're yellow... They got a fucking Shimikaze.
They got a Shimikaze.
I can't. Literally, the initial search engine, for anyone who's not familiar with Kantai Collection, if you've ever had to play against it, the main engine that was initially ran was off of Shimikaze that had this exact same climax combo off of a Draw 2K and a Soul. And that was their advantage engine for fuck ever.
Right, you drew a card and then you searched 3 cards and you're good to go.
SAO has one of, if not the best searcher in the goddamn game.
And we're still getting Shimikazes.
They have Zek and Yuki. There is no reason for this to be a thing. They're just trying to push the +2 soul trigger thingy because there's other cards that deal with them later. There's
It's
no
that,
reason.
and also, the only reason I can even begin to think this card would even be useful would be the fact that maybe if you're playing, like, something involving more Asuna than more Yukis, you know? But
like, the biggest difference, this has 500 more power. Cool, that's your typical Hatsukaze thrown in the back row for Kantai. The other things you could do for this, Asuna's Married Life gives an additional 500, she'd be a 6. Climax combo, or when you play a Climax, Asuna's Married Life give an additional 1,000 to somebody. She would be a 7k anyway, before you give the 2k to whether it's her or someone else. So,
and also, I feel like you're not going to have room for unchanged feelings in your deck, honestly.
It would be...
Unless, again, you're playing a kind of off-centered deck on, like, Asuna, but...
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. If you want to
like, if you're balancing last shot, attacking waves, anything, or any other level 3, you're not going to be running unchanged feelings.
Yeah, to which there's 2 other Asuna cards that have, to me, a better effect, a better advantage engine effect, being Asuna Invites the Party, which was the first one they ever got, because it's from the first set, if I remember correctly. That stated, on attack with a 1k1 soul to everybody, even though it was a spin trigger, sure, it's not gold bar. Even though it was a spin trigger, it still was a better climax combo, better climax. She got almost as big, and it was on swing, pay 1. You don't have to reverse anything. There's still inherited sword skill Asuna, which is still not a bad advantage engine. But that also requires to do on reverse effects. Sorry, I realize I'm preaching at this point, and I realize this. I do not feel that this card should have been made, especially when AOT just got all their bullshit of, like, events that bounce back to the hand and just deny your opponent advantage.
Right, like, I feel like if you're really hurting for advantage and Zek and Yuki isn't putting it through, you can just run, like, Time Limit Leaflet and be done with it.
Exactly.
You can just pay your 2, search whenever you want, and be done with it.
Yeah. Like, they were trying to push for the alternate deck builds, but obviously the decks that are going to run that you're going to see more of are not going to have this. I don't feel that this card needed to be made.
Yeah, again, unless you're just Asuna fanboying it up with the deck, or you're actually depending on this particular Asuna, but I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad card in any way, shape, or form, but...
No, it's not. It's actually quite healthy for Sword Art, really,
But it's something that's been around.
It's not going to outpace Zek and Yuki, and it's not going to outpace literally anything else in that set.
Fuck no. Not by any
or
means.
in past sets, I should be saying. But
yeah. I feel like it's a step back, but that's whatever. This next one was kind of cool because of the one following after it, but I thought this one was kind of cool. But Timmy, this is yours.
Let me get this loading real quick. Oh, Asuna Sweets time.
That is a big thing.
It is a level 2, 1 cost, 3,500 power, 1 soul. Assist. All characters in front of this card gain X power. X is 500 times the level of that character, so level assister as usual.
Mm-hmm.
When this card is placed on stage from hand, choose one of your characters, and it gets 1,500 power and the following ability for the turn. And that ability is a continuous ability, saying this card cannot be chosen as targets for card effects. Ooh, it's got hexproof. Neat. And
exactly.
Another translator notes of, this is not an Asuna card. This is a real-life Asuna card.
Mm-hmm. You still got the net, so you're good on that regard, but I don't know. I guess one of the bigger points that can be made with the Sleeping Knights I mentioned earlier, because it gives the middle center Asuna or Yuki. Like, none of these would get buffs off of that, but obviously this is a macro card anyway. That's not comparable in that regard. But if there was another one, just stating.
Right.
This one's kind of cool with the next card that comes up.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and...
referencing this card before you move on, though. Mm-hmm. I feel like this card easily has the potential to be one of those, like, one-of cards that Sora's kind of been seeing floating around in their level 2 lineups now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could be that one of... Well, I mean, it's not going to replace Tiffany or a guild by any means, but, like, it might be the one of, like, instead of running Machine of Ice, you just might want Hexproof and more power than the Machine of Ice can provide.
Yeah. And before anyone tries to say, oh, but Machine of Ice is so much better, Machine of Ice is very good, and
I mean, use it to run both. You search enough to run multiple one-ups,
but what it has to do with Machine of Ice, you have to target your opponent's card, and think of all the stuff now that like is just like.
I was like, we've been getting a lot of cards that say you can't target your stuff. So
Yami, the Darkness from Konosuba. There's several cards in AOT that just straight give your other characters hexproof. So this makes it so Machine of Ice can't target those. This doesn't affect this card right here. Doesn't affect your opponent's. It affects yours. So you're giving your own character hexproof, not so much making it so your opponent can't do shit. And you essentially accomplish the same thing because Machine of Ice was used to prevent stuff like Darkness Plan, Compass, etc. Mainly Compass back in the day, but that's whatever.
Right.
But, it's all cool.
I mean, I think it's just more of like a confidence choice. Like, if you're confident, you're not going to get destroyed by all means, but...
This is also only a one-turn thing, but I don't care. Yeah, it's whatever.
Alright.
But yeah. The next card is actually really cool to combo with this if you wanted to try something like this out. Obviously not something any major. Flash Asuna and Black Swordsman Kirito is a rare. 3/2, 9k, 2 soul. It has 3 abilities. If you have Time to Get Serious, Kirito is in your clock. It gets -1 level in hand. Cool. Gets 500 power for each of your other Avatar net characters, so can become an 11 through its own power. And when it's placed on hand, from 2 stage from hand, draw up to 1 card. Choose up to 1 cost 1 or lower character in your hand and put it on any slot of the stage. The reason I said this could potentially combo with this, because this is a 1 cost. So you could drop this and then summon the level 2 for free. And this ends up getting much bigger, where I said if you had a full field at that point, you'd be 11, level assist on top of an extra 15, etc. So it could be pretty cool. Getting 2 characters for the price of 1 and giving it hexproof would be really nice.
Right. Because it'd be like 12-5 on its own right then and there.
Yeah. So that's whatever. Just interesting little stuff I'd noticed, and I was like, okay, cool. But I mean, once again, you could do this and then still drop like Machine of Ice or whatever you wanted to. Fun fact, off of this effect, because it's telling you to just place the card by its effect, even if you don't have the color to summon that character, you'd still be able to do it.
Yeah, it's like a special summon.
Mm-hmm.
Or a superior call in Bushi terms. But
yeah. And then the next one, Teme. Number 8.
Chain Attack Asuna. Ooh, another level 0. 0/0, 1500 power, 1 soul. When this card attacks, choose one of your characters with Avatar or Net, and that character gets 1500 power till the end of turn. And when this card is placed on stage, by the effect of the auto of Chain Attack Kirito to the stage, you may choose a character in your waiting room with either Avatar or Net and put it into your stock.
Mm-hmm.
So combos that with Chain Attack Kirito.
Yeah, I'm making a note of this as kind of a throwback thing when we get to that, but that's going to be blue. So sadly, that'll be part 4 of this set of podcasts. But,
yeah, I was gonna say they're referencing a lot of Chain Attack Kirito.
Yeah. My guess, because I have not looked at blue yet, this is just me kind of doing a hypothesis. This reminds me of the Anastasia combo from Idolmaster that summons
I'm gonna cheat and look at Chain Attack Kirito.
You cheater. I'm just gonna go ahead and see this before he says anything. I'm gonna
Oh,
say this is probably like a faux restand.
this card is not what I thought it would be.
Not. What
No,
level
no,
is it?
no. See, I thought it was gonna be like a level 1 or something. It's a level 3.
See, that's what I thought it was gonna be. I figured it's gonna be like a level 3 that is gonna do some effect to summon this.
Hang on. I'm not gonna read it out loud. I'm gonna read it to myself real quick since we're gonna have to go over it anyway.
Yeah. Which I'll be reading the next one after this. Plus, you get a stock off of it. That's kind of cool.
Oh,
Good.
okay. That's gonna be an interesting topic to go over when we get to it.
So, we'll basically make a note of this. Number 8.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a discussion about that card, Billy, after this, actually.
So this will be coming up later.
Yeah.
Next one, Asuna Promised Day That's Far Away. Number 9. 1065, uncommon, one soul. She gets -1 level in stage, so she becomes a level 0. She can be affected by level 0 reversers and stock bombs, etc. When she becomes reversed in battle, put this on the bottom of your library. So, it's kind of whatever. If you do have that Sleeping Knights, once again, you could give her back a level, and so she would still be like a level 1 with like 7,500 power for free. It's kind of cool. But that's
Yeah, it's
whatever.
actually it's a weird combo, but it's a combo nonetheless.
Well, people were kind of doing the same thing. There's another Asuna that's like a 1/1 that benefits greatly off of that Sleeping Knights Brainstormer. But at the same time, like, that's not one of those cards you see every single game, but it's there. They just happen to have it.
Right.
But yeah, the next one, Asuna and Kirita, number 10.
Oh yeah, it's one of Asuna and Kirita's. Asuna and Kirita, Promises Within. Level 2, 1 cost, 4,500 power, 1 soul. Continuous skill of Recollection. If Asuna Shooting Star Promise is in your memory, this card gains 5,000 power and +1 soul.
Mm-hmm. So become a 9/5 with 2 soul as a 1-drop. The Asuna Shooting Star is the one that can put itself into memory, so...
Yeah,
This
I
is
remember us going over that.
This is another one that I feel we're going to have a throwback for when we get into the green cards. For a particular card that I saw that very much intrigued me, shooting... I'm just making a note real quick. I'm writing it down in my notebook. Promise. Alright. So, we're going to have a throwback to this card eventually, and that Shooting Star Promise Asuna, which is that low level 0/1. And that's that's Unchanged Feelings. So, pulling up the next set of cards, which will basically these set of tabs will carry us through to the end of this, all the way
Yeah,
to the event.
my tabs have drastically shortened, so that's good.
There's no other climaxes, so we don't have to worry about like climax combos. We'll be able to go through these a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Number 11, Asuna Today's MVP. It's a 2/1 5K. When this is placed from hand to stage, draw a card and discard a card. So, hand filtering, always good. When it becomes reversed, if the level of the battle opponent of this is higher than the level of the opponent, you may put that character into your opponent's stock. If you do, put the bottom card of your opponent's stock in the waiting room. So, it's anti-change, but in character form, not backup form. Even though a lot of the backup ones that do that are characters. Anyway, so I need to restate this. Anti-changes that you summon, not anti-changes that you drop on your opponent and go, what's good, you know. So this is still really cool. There was a neat little combo I saw with Konosuba. There's a darkness that can give any character on the field a level. And then
Right.
And then there's an Eris that has this same effect, but it puts it on the bottom of the deck. So I saw people would purposely, oh, you have this big card that's a problem that I can't get over. Give it a level and then swing with this Eris into it, and now it's higher level than your level. Get off the field. So,
You're done.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like just the random ass synergy in there, off of two
Right.
different cards that don't have anything to do with each other in the entire fucking series. I just thought that was so cool.
Right.
I don't think... I mean, we have the Tiffany. I say Tiffany, but it's the one Agile backup, which is an anti-change. Are there any other anti-change effects like this in SAO? I don't remember.
can't tell you. I really don't know.
Yeah. So,
Honestly, if there is, it's obviously not worth running because we have a Jill, but
this is true. We got Tiffany.
I was like, yeah, good old Tiff. Tiff gets things done.
Yeah. The next one being number 12.
Number 12. Hopefully it loads for me. Oh, it does.
Yay.
Ah, yes. Yes, Asana Charming Beachside.
That fan
It is a 00 1500 fan service card with 1 soul and a brick wall of text to go with it.
Yeah.
Auto ability. Discard a character card with either avatar net from your hand to the waiting room. When your character's trigger check reveals a climax card, if that card has 2 soul trigger icons, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them, put them to your hand, and the rest into the waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
And as an act skill, you can pay 1, rest this, reveal the top card of your library. If it is every library of your deck, if it is a character with either avatar or net, put it into your hand.
Which that skill's actually pretty good.
The first skill's really neat, but again,
Yeah.
if you're running a standard sword art deck, you're not going to have a 2 soul in your deck at all.
Yeah, I like that second effect of the pay
There's
one
a-
top check.
Yeah, that pay 1 top check's really cool.
Mm.
But does the Quest of Excalibur, does one of those have a double soul?
Yeah, it was also a
Okay,
yellow
so I
stock
guess-
soul.
Yeah,
But-
so I was like, I guess you can
Yeah, but
hit
people
that
run
one
the
up.
1K1.
Right.
Just because because of it being the trigger that gets back other climaxes, it's easier to get copies of itself for the combo.
Yeah, good old
So,
gate trigger. But
yeah. So people prefer that over the 2 soul trigger one, but that's whatever. It was a yellow stock soul, I had to remember.
yeah.
Otherwise, this isn't bad. I once again, I don't care for the 2 soul trigger thing, but that's whatever.
No, I mean, I don't care for it either, but for the people out there who want to play it, I'm just trying to give them hope.
I know, right? But yeah, all that fan service though. It's one thing about SAO. I liked all that plot.
Yeah,
But
yeah. The legs in the background there look very plot filled.
Yeah. Asuna challenging the boss battle. Number 13 is 002K, 1 soul. All your other Kirito kind expression get plus 1,000 power and plus 1 soul. What do you
This
think?
is
That's
a
probably
blue
gonna be
card,
like
isn't it?
Probably. It's probably also like a vanilla. Is my guess for it.
I'm debating if I want to cheat for this one or not too, but I'm probably
if it's
going
a vanilla,
to.
it doesn't matter. Like
Okay, cool. I'm gonna cheat like mad.
the Kirito kind expression. I don't know what the number for that's going to be.
Let me see. Scroll. It's a blue card. It is indeed.
There's a penalty if your HP goes to 0. People die when
Oh,
they're killed.
it is indeed a vanilla.
Is a vanilla what? Vanilla
It's a level 1 cost 7k vanilla. So it becomes 8k level 2.
8K 2 soul.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 8k 2.
Sorry. I had to double check again. I was like, wait, it gives a level.
I'm so used to him being like, oh man, level.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? The actual extra soul on that's kind of cool. It would be better if this had like a bond for it. The synergy would be so much better if it had a bond to be able to.
Oh, if
grab
it also
that.
had a bond, yeah.
Oh my god. But it's all good. People die when they're killed.
If you die in a game, you die for real.
Yeah. But number 14.
Is that me? That is me.
Yeah, bro.
Asana, excuse me. Asana, important routine. Level 1, 4,000 power, 1 soul. Recollection, which I'm assuming is memory. If Asana Shooting Star promises in your memory, oh well, it is. This card gains 1,000 power and 1 soul, and has character encore. And once again, this is not the online Asana; it's normal Asana.
Which now you actually have an issue because that Asuna Shooting Star promise, like I said, was the one that puts itself into memory, and
Yes.
it grabs an Asuna, a Kirito, or a Yui. This card that combos with it can't be grabbed.
It cannot
by
be
that
grabbed
effect.
by that effect. Sure can't.
Where's the one? This is actually a really cool card to have for this because
I mean, yeah, for that combo, that's actually not bad. That's a free 5k with 2 soul.
Yeah, with character encore. Bitch, please, I'm going to be using that again and again.
Right, like I would love to do that. You can just play level 1 Rush and
Yeah.
do a lot of
Just-
damage and stall it to your level 3 Sword Art game, but
It's the fact of you can't get copies of this with that level 0 that combos with it. I think that's this what's the word I'm looking for here?
ridiculous.
Stupid, sure. Let's go with that. It's not efficient. Well, I'll put it that way. Then it is not anywhere consistent, efficient, etc. I feel that that could have been a change. This is why I think that this isn't really going to become a problem. They're probably going to see this and go, "Oh, never mind, we fucked up." I don't know.
Right, time to start putting quotation marks everywhere. Time to start removing some, and then
Ain't that the damn truth? Okay, so the next one is Asuna Gust-like Thrust Attacks. It's just a 1055 vanilla, so I'll skip to the next one.
oh wow, that was actually vanilla good.
Yeah. Asuna Battle Preparation.
I like the art on
116.
that vanilla though. That's
Exactly, it's very nice art.
That's really good.
So 1/1 counter. It's normally a 2K backup. If you use the backup of this, if all your characters are either Avatar or Net, you may put the top card of your library in your stock. So it can essentially pay for itself, but there's already Vice Commander Asuna. It does it better.
Right,
Because
it's
I don't want to blind stock randomly. What if that blind stock is a climax?
right.
And yeah, no. So if you know you're out of climaxes in the deck, sure, dig a little further. But otherwise, Vice Commander Asuna does the same 2K backup for free. You know, so it doesn't
Right.
matter. So personal opinion there. That's whatever.
I mean, unless you just want that one card to go, but
And that's the truth. Oh well, I know that the one I'm about to pay is the one stock I'm going to pay is a climax, and well, I put another climax in there. I don't know. The next one is out of place, but go for it, bro.
oh, genius game designer Kayaba,
Junior.
level 2, 10,000 power, 3 soul. Wait, hold on. What is this card?
He's a 3 cost.
He is a 3 cost, but like 3 soul though. It's weird.
Yeah. Check that effect though.
When this card becomes reversed in battle, put the top card of your library in your clock and rest this. Yo, Kayaba's cheating.
Yeah. There's a card very similar to this in Nise Monogatari. There was a Tsukihi Phoenix level 3 that did the exact same thing, but it was red. It was also 3 cost, 3 soul, and had the same effect, where if it died, it forcibly encored and you. I don't think it dealt you a damage though. I can't remember if it dealt you a damage or not, but it at least saved itself once.
I'm just saying though,
So
like
it's similar.
this is my first time ever seeing like 3 soul on a card. So it just looks so out of place seeing the symbol 3 times at the bottom.
Yeah. Even though they give enough room for like 4.
Right.
Like there's enough room if you wanted to squeeze somehow 4 soul triggers in there, you could. It's not efficient.
And also, Kayaba's face looks like he's just done with this. He's like, look, I retired this game the first time. Why is there 5 copies of it now?
Bring back Takahata 101. Why am I being brought back into this, you know? So, yeah, just random ass shit right here. And to round out the yellow cards is the event card for yellow. Unexpected Whisper. It's an uncommon, so this is going to be interesting. It's a 1/0 counter event. It's yellow. So you had to have yellow in your clock or level to be able to use this, regardless of whatever. Reason I state that is because character backups don't check color. Anyway. Choose one of your characters in battle, return it to your hand. Choose one of your characters in the back row, move it to the slot that the character in battle was in as defending character. So, 2 things about this. I like the first part. I like the first part where it says choose a character in battle, return it to your hand. That's kind of like the new mobility gear that AOT got.
Right.
But unlike that one,
Just not searchable as far as we know. But
yes, not searchable because there's like 2 different climax combos that get that card back and whatnot.
right.
That mobility gear also had the effect of being able to get back a character from your waiting room. So it actually costed a stock. This doesn't cost a stock, but you can potentially could potentially deny your opponent a on reverse effect. Except the second part kicks in, where it's like move a character in your back row up to that slot. Now, if you don't have any characters in your back row, you ain't got to worry about it.
But if you do, then...
If you do. Now, this is where I feel... One, I have looked at... I checked one thing in the red cards, and that was I wanted to see if they got the new standby trigger that summons characters. And that's where this could come into effect, where, okay, say you're level 2 or 1 or whatever, and you trigger the standby trigger, and you summon a bigger character, whether that's like a level 2 or a level 3, and you summon it to the back row.
Right.
Then you have this. If your opponent tries to do an on-reverse effect that would kill your character, you can bounce that back, and move that level 3 or whatever in front of it that's probably going to be bigger, and then potentially deny them an on-reverse ability.
Potentially, yeah.
So that's the synergy that I see with that if they try to start implementing that. Reason I checked the climaxes for red was because apparently someone thought it was gonna be funny to Photoshop the new salvage trigger with a crit symbol next to it and post it up. It was like, hey, look at the new salvage triggers, and we're like, this is fake as fuck. What the hell? And I double checked it just to make certain that it was fake, and it was. But that's how I saw SAO's getting a standby trigger as well. So,
Right.
That'll be interesting to see for that. Admittedly, there's some red splashed in for some decks, I guess.
I mean, probably more than one card now.
True. Well, how cool would that be to have like the getting the Holy Sword Kirito, trigger the standby thing, bring that out, and that gets a bigger buff on your opponent's turn anyway. Okay, you're about to try to reverse this my Zekin Yuki. I realize I'm going into like 4-color decks at this point.
I was like, yeah, where's my quad color deck though?
I know, right? Or one of your advantage engines, they go to swing at it, you bounce it back, and then move that Kirito in front, and he'd be like, hold up. And just like, you denying you entrance to the club, fool. But yeah, no, I thought that would kind of work, but at the same time, while the first effect is great to deny potential on effect reverses, it just the fact that you have to put something in, and sure, it's flavor. It's where you see the English text and it says switch, or that's what they do in SAO is the whole switching around.
Right, like that's their thing now.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, AOT did it first and they did it better. That's
yeah, it's like it's not vanilla beat SAO anymore. Where they actually have a mechanic.
Yeah, ain't that the damn truth?
Granted, their mechanic opened a little bit too strongly, but
yeah, this is still not bad. I can still see some stuff being done with it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no, I mean I feel like it's an okay card.
Yeah, just by comparison to other stuff in other sets, it's nowhere near as good.
I mean, I guess it had to have something wrong with it considering it's free, but and it's also an event, so we couldn't really ask too much of it.
Fair enough. It's not like it's Compass or anything that's like one of the greatest cards ever, right?
Yeah, like honestly, I'd feel a lot better about this card if there was one way you could actually search it, but who knows? I doubt it.
Another thing of it being an event is if you wanted to, you could, during your turn, oh, well, I need to be able to heal some more. This would be just kind of a funny thing to do at level 3. Drop a last shot Xenon, but like the only last shot Xenon you have in your hand, heal one, play this, bounce it back, move characters again, summon it again, and then heal another one. So, little funny things like that could be done, but not saying that's what you're going to do. If you got the stock to do it, by all means, go for it, but...
I mean, when you think about it, it prevents your last shot Xenon from dying, actually, because the moment it gets reversed, it gets into memory, so you can't even save it. But with this, you just
No, I'm saying on
prevent the battle in general.
It does say choose one of your characters in battle. Fuck.
Yeah, so it's like you just
Mind, I probably couldn't do that then. I mean, like you said, it would be able to save those ones that. Yeah, because if last shot Xenon gets reversed, she goes to memory.
Yeah, you can't save it; it just goes. So this would prevent that from happening.
Yeah, because it says in battle. Disregard what I just said. I just realized that. So yeah. Okay. Other than that, that is the entirety of yellow in SAO because there's no promos.
Yeah, I mean, there was Mother's Rosario for Climax, which I accidentally closed, and Unchanging Feelings. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Unchanged Feelings. Sorry, not fast like Asuna Shimakaze thingy. Kai.
Unchanged Feelings is a yellow climax, double crit trigger. When this card's placed on hand from climax, or placing climax in from hand, draw a card, 2K and a soul. But other than that,
So, yeah.
I mean, it's just a picture of someone being held down to Asuna's breast. So,
Yeah. There are some really awesome cards, and there are some really weird cards in this so far. I've definitely, especially when you get into green, there's some shit that I'm going to be trying out just to mess with stuff, and I'll point
like
out
you're
to you in a
telling
bit.
me, I'm actually excited. I really want to actually like improve my triple color deck as is to be like really good. Like,
this has some crazy
If
stuff.
I can, I'm probably going to try to pick up copies of that level 3 Asuna.
Oh no, I will be too. Believe me, like I completely understand. Like just to do some shenanigans. But other than that, we're getting about at our time limit here. So, any other thoughts on Part 1 Yellow so far?
Like, yellow's really good except for the random, Asuna is not Asuna type ordeal. Yellow's
Yeah.
pretty decent. I'm actually very excited to see what green and red provides. Blue, even though it has Xenon in it, I could kind of care less. Blue has enough, but
Yeah.
But I also kind of want to see all these other chain attacks that are listed here, because there's another chain attack listed here that I want to see what if it does, or it combos out with anybody.
Possibly. Which, to point out
It probably-
something else that was funny.
It's probably going to end up being one of those like, oh, since this is chain attack Asuna, chain attack, I'm going to spoil it, chain attack Xenon, they both might might buff that vanilla chain attack Kirito
Possibly.
to no end.
At the same time, yellow has 20 cards, green has 30, red has 20, and blue has 30. So green and blue has more cards, which is like the main colors run for the decks now anyway. So
Right, green, blue, and then like maybe splashes of the third card or the third color.
like we know what colors you're just going to splash in anyway, so we're not going to make as many copies of those.
Right, but I feel like yellow came in pretty strong though.
Oh, yeah,
to set
no.
around.
It's still pretty cool. Like
Even without counting the level 3 Asuna that everyone's peeing their pants about, but like the rest of yellow was still pretty good.
Yeah, I'm still eagerly anticipating some of the green stuff because, oh my goodness, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, hopefully Sugaha got some good cards laying around, because
Oh, I didn't even worry about Sugaha. I'll show you in a second here, but
yeah, but like definitely since Leafa it's been rampaging around lately for Sword Art, so
oh yeah, because boobs, right?
right,
He's
right,
like, he's like, I'm not complaining.
they do so much damage, you clock yourself, but
Oh yeah. But with that, we'll go ahead and sign off for now. Thank y'all very much for listening. Subscribe if you haven't already, and even if you decide not to, hey, thanks for just sticking around this long to watch the video.
Thanks for listening.
I mean, hell, we ain't getting paid shit for this, so this is just for fun. So, but with that, this is Kool-Aid signing off, and we got Timmer.
Yeah.
And we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.
See ya.
All right, now, which one of you is it? I know one of you is not who they claim to be. I know someone amongst you is an Asuna that is not an Asuna card. Who is it? Is it you? Married life or